should be connecting. Hello.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us for our 86th Ask Tamily interview.
I'm happy to be here.
We're glad to have you. So of course we have some questions planned for you, but I'll scroll through the chat as we get the live questions and mix those in as well.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and start with our favorite question, which is, when and how did you start with the Tracy Anderson method?
Okay, so it's a long time. I feel like it's been a long time. In 2011, so I was still in college and I was living with roommates, and one of my roommates brought this book home. I don't even remember what it was called. Is it called the Tracy Anderson method?
The 30-day method, maybe?
Her book. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was just like sitting on the counter. I was like, what is this? And she's like, oh, it's this book I got. You should read it. I've been reading it at work, And I was like, okay. So I read it and I thought, this is really interesting. Like, my whole life I've been into fitness and stuff like that. And I've tried every type of workout there is. You name it, I've probably done it. But like, everything she was saying in the book really clicked with me. So there was like a DVD in the book. Did you read the book?
I own it. I don't know if I read it.
So there's this DVD in the book, and she's wearing like, I don't even remember. She's not even wearing really a workout outfit. It's like a fancy, shiny little outfit. Like her little capri pants, and there's like a dance, and then I think there was a few mat work moves. So I did that for a little bit and I liked it. But I wasn't consistent with it. I kind of would run still and do other things. And then I got engaged, and before my wedding, I decided to try Metamorphosis.
Okay.
And at the time on her website, you went in and you described your body type or whatever. And so it said I was hip centric. So I bought that, but I didn't follow the calendar how I should. But I did lose some of the weight that I gained from college with it. But it wasn't really until I had my daughter, so 2014, when I was like, okay, I really need to do this properly. So I got out the Metamorphosis, I got out the calendar, and I was like, I'm going to follow this exactly how it says. And I completed it. And I got my friend Elise, mom bought Elise. She had just had her daughter. Our kids are actually 2 weeks apart.
Oh my God.
So she was like, I need something too. So then we were like motivating each other, and we lost our baby weight with it. And from that, I did continuity, and then dipped into streaming for a little bit, then went back to continuity, and then streaming again. And I've been doing it ever since.
So how long have you been streaming now?
So I have been continuously streaming since my son, so after my son was born in 2017, once I got the clear from the doctor and I had done her post-pregnancy DVD a while, I just jumped into streaming. But I dipped my toes in it a little bit in probably 2015.
Okay.
And that was when it was just like one class.
Yeah.
And I only did it for, we only did it for like a couple months. And then I went back to continuity.
How much of continuity did you end up doing?
I don't think I did all of it, but I did a good portion of it. I mean, I feel like I skipped. I don't remember doing some of the videos that had the other trainers.
Okay.
Or I didn't do any of the hula hoop moves.
Okay.
When I got to that point, I'm like, I didn't get that far. But I did do a lot of it. So.
Yeah, a lot of that paraphernalia scared me. So.
I know. I remember using the little ball. Yes. The ball, the chair, the weird moves where you're up on the chair and leaning down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I did the hula hoop stuff though.
Okay.
There was a point where I was like, this is getting odd. But who is it? The Catherine? Yeah, she did all of that, and I watched her. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're awesome doing it.
In her bathroom with a mop handle.
With the yes. I was like, you more power to you. I don't think I'm coordinated enough to do it.
Yeah. So what level workout are you doing at this point? And Ange asked, how often do you work out now?
So I kind of switch back and forth. I'll do fundamentals and attain, although lately I've been on an attain kick because of some of her lectures at the end of class. I just feel like that's probably where I should be. But sometimes the attain class is so hard that I have a hard time doing it all week.
Yeah.
So I try to work out 5 days a week, sometimes 6.
Okay.
But I don't always do a chain the whole time. I mean, if I really like it, I do. Other times I might throw in some fundamental, or occasionally I do start too. I haven't done start in a while though, but I have in the past. So.
And what about dance cardio?
I don't do dance cardio. You know that from our TAM meetup.
I do.
Everyone's like, let's do dance cardio. I'm like, I'll sit and record you guys.
Right.
I did it though. When I did Metamorphosis, I did do it. That was like, I followed it exactly how you were supposed to. But then it was 30 minutes. It was like 30 minutes of mat and a 25-minute dance DVD.
Yeah.
So I know that dance DVD. If we would have pulled that out at the meetup, I could have totally done it.
We should do that.
We should have, because
do that.
I got to the point I was so sick of it. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sick of doing these
I bet
things.
you we remember it. Like I
bet everyone does.
Okay.
Because you do that for, was it 90 days or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 90 days of that. You're like, I remember it.
We should have, I was going to say we should all get together. Maybe it's not the best time for all of us to get together for a meetup, but we should do some kind of a challenge on Instagram for old dance cardio.
Yeah. She had, and some of the continuity dance cardio was similar to the Metamorphosis. I did several of those too.
Yeah.
It's the new stuff. I can't keep up like with the people who are like doing the challenges and learning all of the choreography.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not a dancer. I was never a dancer and I struggled. I tried. Like after I had my son, I was like, I'm going to try to do dance cardio. And it took me way too long to memorize it. Like I can't do it, but I can memorize her mat stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It's just different to me.
Thing. Right.
I think I have 2 left feet when I'm standing, but on the ground, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the same way I am. So what ultimately made you go with the Tracy Anderson method versus all the other fitness methods that you tried?
I think for me, and I've done a lot of Beachbody stuff. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. Insanity. Did that twice in the past. That's intense. I've done, gosh, I don't even know. I used to run a lot. I ran cross country and track when I was younger. So my main form of exercise was always running. But I think I stuck with the method just because it wasn't boring. Like it was constantly changing and I really liked that. And in her book, she really talked about the importance of muscle confusion and changing it up, because you can't do the same move over and over again. Because then she would talk about running on a treadmill, or she talked about the elliptical. I remember that in the book specifically, and how you just use the same muscle over and over again, and then it will just bulk it. And the key is to just switch it up, constantly doing different things. And I just loved it. Like it changed all the time, and I was never bored. And her moves are so weird, and at first you're just like, what is going on? But they're so cool. And I feel like a lot of people have told me like, your workout's kind of weird when they see the videos, but then if they ever try it with me, they're like, oh my God, this is way harder than it looks.
Yeah.
And it really is. It's just about I don't know, I just like that it changes so much and it's different. And the arms too really get you hooked. Yeah. Because if you ever go back, there'll be occasionally, like my husband, he still does Beachbody stuff, and he'll ask me to do a workout with him, or sometimes I'll go back and do stuff like that. And I can do it for a couple days, but it really is just like lunging or bicep curls, like the same stuff over and over, and you miss her arms. The arms are just so unique. And I think that's the one thing that I just could never give up, is the arms.
Yeah,
I just love it.
Totally right. I feel the same exact way. Like a workout wouldn't even make any sense to me if it's with an opening ceremony.
Yeah. And I mean, when you sit there and are doing those other workouts where you're literally just like, let's do like 20 of these or whatever, it's like, okay, I can do this with fun music and get like way better results. I mean, my arms look way better doing her method than they do whenever I did like just push-ups all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Gosh, it's so incredibly different. So what gets you to stay motivated to work out so regularly?
I mean, for me, it's really become a habit. The main thing. I feel like at first I had to really dig deep. I have to get there because it is really hard at first when you're doing it and you're sore and you're tired. And like I said, it was after I had my first child that I really was like dedicated to it. And it does take people's help. And I mean, at the time when I was doing Metamorphosis, I don't even know, this is going to make me sound old, I don't think Instagram was around.
Right.
I don't remember what year Instagram even became popular.
Yeah.
But I don't think Instagram was around. So I don't remember seeing people do it online when I was doing Metamorphosis. So my like Elise and me really had to motivate each other when we first did it.
Yeah.
We'd send each other motivational quotes and text messages and like, we got to get to the mat today. Did you do it? Like checking in. We're like workout buddies. And that's how it started. And then we got our friend Lindsay in on it and she did the same thing. And, but once you do it long enough, it just becomes a habit. So for me, it motivates me just because just like with anything else, I brush my teeth every day. You take a shower.
Yeah.
Like that's all just a part of your life.
Yeah.
And the other big thing for me is my kids. I think it's really important for them to see me being healthy and taking care of myself. Yeah. And they've seen that since they were babies. They don't know anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think they'll grow up being healthy, I hope, and seeing that movement so important because their parents have done it, you know?
Exactly. Especially if they see you doing something that you enjoy and it makes exercise a good thing instead of like something to dread or something that you have to do like as a punishment for eating a lot. You know?
Definitely.
It's a
yes.
whole different thing. That's probably the most amazing thing you can really show to your kids is prioritizing your health.
And like most people who follow me probably see, my kids are right there. I mean, I'm on the ground, my son's running all over me. And I mean, it can be annoying having them there, but I think that it's been good for them too. He'll even try to do the moves sometimes.
That's so
the other day he was like trying to do leg lifts and I'm like, you got it, buddy. Keep going.
Yeah. Aw. What would be your advice to someone who's new to the method and to the Tamily?
So to someone who's new, like streaming or just in any of it in general?
I guess in any of it, but maybe also comment about anything you think for being new to streaming too.
I think so. The biggest thing, because they're so different, and I don't know how many people actually do the DVDs anymore. Do you think that many people buy them?
But I mean, people must.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they're so different. Like the DVDs are a lot different than streaming is, and the DVDs really kind of are basic. So I guess if you're just starting and you've trialed streaming and you feel like streaming is just like a lot, I might go back to the DVDs. Because even the Metamorphosis, they're very, I think, basic. You don't have ankle weights on. The arms are not nearly as long. So it really gives you a grasp of angles and how to do the moves properly. Same with dancing. If you really want to do dance cardio, pull up those old dance DVDs. Because anyone can do it. If I can do those, you can. But as far as streaming, if you really want to go with streaming, first get a mirror. A mirror or use your phone. That makes a huge difference. Because when I did Metamorphosis, I didn't have a mirror. I would just like do it. And I wasn't recording myself either because I wasn't posting anything. And then when I started streaming, that's when I was like, oh, I really need to watch this. And you really don't notice angles, certain things when you're not looking. So the mirror makes a huge difference. And actually right before we got on, someone had posted the lecture from the End of Fundamentals where she was talking about meeting the angles properly and being like more like a yo-yo where you come back versus like just wasting the energy. And you can really notice that when you have a mirror. Right. So if you're new, the mirror will really help you know if you're doing your angles right, because that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and you don't want to think you're getting it right and you're totally not.
Yeah.
Like,
because then it's just like a waste of your time. But if you do it right, I noticed a huge difference when I started streaming. I wasn't using a mirror at first, and then I brought the mirror in, and I was like, oh, my angles aren't what she's doing. And once I was really paying attention to that, I really notice a difference in my results too. So that's really key.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is, I mean, it's not a quick fix. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think a lot of people think with exercise in general or a diet or whatever, like, oh, I just want something that's going to just get me in shape fast. It's not going to. Right. And if that's what you're looking for, then the method is not for you. Because it's like, it will take time. And you're not going to see results right away. But if you stick to it, it'll be well worth it. Because then you will. And you'll feel so good too.
And it's almost like the results that you get over time are like they last longer than results that you get quickly. Like,
yes,
do some 3-week thing that loses inches, but it's like those inches come right back.
Well, and you feel too, it's so much more like gratifying for yourself, and you feel so much more accomplished when you've worked that hard for something. Like when you do, like when I completed that 90-day program, that was like a big deal to me. And I lost all the baby weight I gained, and I felt like my body looked the best it had ever looked, and I felt great. And I mean, that's just like, it's so awesome. Like, I don't know. So just if you can stick with it, then it becomes an addiction too. And then you're just going to do it automatically. It's just like brushing your teeth.
Right.
Now I just like do it.
Yeah. So if someone is not at that point yet and they're not feeling motivated, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would say first, the main thing, like if they're doing the method already and they're just not, I feel like I had moments in the past where I kind of felt like that. In particular, after I had my son, I had a really hard time getting back in shape after him than I did with my daughter. And I was like, is it streaming versus metamorphosis? Like, what's the difference? And it took me a lot longer to get back in shape. Mm-hmm. But it's more like a mental thing. It really is. Mm-hmm. And doing it for yourself, for how you feel, how it makes you feel mentally, having that little break from just life, whether you have kids or a hectic job, it becomes more than what it's giving you body-wise. Like, sure, the benefit of that's nice, but also how it makes you feel is better. So looking at that is important. And also, you're not going to get any result in anything in life, whether it be exercise, diet, happiness, anything, unless you can love yourself. And you have to love yourself first. And if you can do that, then you'll see the results. Right. Because you're not comparing to other people. Like, it becomes you, your relationship with you, you know? And I think when I did that after my son, and I finally was like, I need to stop comparing to my old self. Mm-hmm. That body was different. That body just only had one child, you know? This body had gone through a miscarriage. This body just had a second child. Like, I'm different now. And once I told myself that, and I loved myself for who I was then, and I wasn't paying attention to anything else, that's when I lost the rest of the weight, and I got where I wanted to be. Yeah. So you got to love yourself.
Yeah, that's so true. Mm-hmm. I mean, people say it, but they really, like, that's absolutely, absolutely true. Yes. And you can't put everybody else ahead of yourself and be taking the right kind of care of them either.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, I mean, the online community can be a double-edged sword, I feel like, at times, because some people, they look at it and they're constantly comparing, I think. And I know that I could be guilty of that. When you see some of the more advanced people like Loretta or someone who's just like really, really good at it, and you're comparing or how they look, and it's not about that. Like, they're on their own journey. And Tracy talks about that all the time. Like, you're on your own journey. You cannot compare. You can't sit there and say, I want this person's body. Like, this is you. You need to work on you. Love yourself. Do that first. Exactly. And it will all fall into place.
Have you faced any challenges in doing the method?
I feel like some of the challenges, I have like a couple. First was dance. Because I felt like there was a period of time where she really was like, you have to dance. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's as much doing that now, but I remember before it was like, you have to do dance. And that was like my formula, was to dance like 3 times a week. And I just like, I did not like it. So I struggled with that, the dancing. So then finally, self-love right here. I was like, I don't like dancing. Like, I'm not going to take the time to learn. This is taking away from spending time with my kids. Cause that's like 2 hours. And I mean, if some people have the time to do that or enjoy it, that's awesome. Yeah. But for me, like, I didn't. And so I took that equation out and I just did the mat work. Mm-hmm. And it might have taken longer, but I felt happier doing that. But yeah, the dancing challenge. And then in the last couple of years, really the challenge with, I feel like how the method's kind of changing.
Okay.
With between fundamentals, attain, like what master class used to be. I struggled with that a lot too, which I know like several people, I've talked to several people in the community who kind of, if you've been with doing it for a while, there definitely was a change. Yeah. Like in how her master class was, then all of a sudden attain was just like nuts. Mm-hmm. And I went through a period where I was like, I don't want to do a class that's that crazy. Yeah. But then I started doing it because I was like, I feel like I need to do it. And then you become almost addicted to it. Right. Because you're just like, that like adrenaline and like heart pounding moves you kind of like. So then you go back to slower stuff and you're like, this is okay, but I miss the craziness.
Right.
But it's just like, she has to change it. I mean, it makes sense why she's doing it. Because all of our bodies are changing. Yeah. And you can't keep doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's like she had to take it to another level, especially with the level that some people had reached. But I think it's important that people realize, like, intermediate is absolutely as hard as attain used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Fundamental is. Like, the athleticism in these workouts has gone up. It's like...
Oh, definitely. And the weights.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like, the old masterclass, you do like the light weights and then maybe add the heavier weights. Right. Or sometimes you don't even have weights on at all.
Yeah.
And now it's like triple weights on your leg, balancing on your back. And it's like, what's going on right now? But it's kind of fun to see if you can do it.
Definitely.
Can I do it 5 days a week? Probably not, but it's fun.
But yeah, absolutely. What is something that you have learned from Tracy?
I think kind of going back to what we were just talking about like self-love, and she really has kind of hit on that. I really enjoy her little talks at the end of the class. I feel like they're just really great little snippets of like knowledge and just stuff that she tells us. But she talks about that a lot, I feel like, about not comparing yourself, or how she would have people come in and be like, I want Gwyneth's butt, I want this person's arms. And I mean, I was guilty of that. And I think I mentioned that in the Tamily meetup. I can remember when I was younger, I would make a board of like people that I thought had like the best body. This is like not healthy, so don't do this. But I did this when I was in college, when I was like trying to lose weight, to be like, oh, Jennifer Aniston has the best body, or this girl has the best arms. That's my goal, to look like that. And that's not healthy. Like, you're never going to look like them. Right. And it was really listening to Tracy say that over and over that I was like, why did I ever try to do that? Why not try to be the best version of yourself? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
that's the biggest lesson I learned from her.
That's what's so funny, because everyone comes to this method, usually because it's about fitness or wellness, but it's also about what you look like, losing weight, and evolving to that point that it really is more about you and loving yourself. And then that's great, but you can reach that point even if you're not at your most perfect results.
Yeah. And that goes back to, I feel like, the mental with it. I mean, when you're doing it for more of how you feel mentally, it then goes into how you feel physically. But if you're mentally healthy and you're mentally there, then everything else feels better, you know?
Exactly. Right.
So
even if you have some pounds to lose or what, like, you can still be extremely happy with yourself
Yes.
and know that you're healthy and athletic and
Mm-hmm.
you keep working on getting to that level
Yes.
of perfection. But that
Well, and it's not, I mean, it's not even about being perfect. It's about what is good for you. Like you're moving your body every day. That's all that matters. You're being healthy. I mean, your body is like a car. It needs the right oil. It's like anything, like tuning a instrument. Like you have to do it for it to work properly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the method is doing for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's okay. Why is your workout important to you?
For me, it's my time. This like hour a day that I get for myself. Even though my kids are around, a lot of it, I still feel like it's for me. If I get time to do it without them around, that's even better. Like the people who have like their own little rooms and stuff like that, I'm so jealous of that. I like watching, like, oh my God, they've got their room going and it's all to themselves. That's amazing. Or they get to go to the studio alone. One day.
Yeah.
But it's more for me, it's just about my mental clarity. I mean, I have anxiety and I feel like I notice a huge difference when I'm doing the workout versus when I don't.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah, that is definitely a huge one. I've experienced it too. Because all of a sudden, like after I had done this workout for years, I was like, whoa, there's a big difference. Like, and you don't always realize that it's because of that, but especially with daily practice.
I noticed too, like over the winter, I took like a week or so off because I just wasn't feeling well. I had like my chest with like a cough and everything. So I took some time off and I was so much worse. Like I just felt like I was in a bad mood, like all of it.
Yeah.
It's amazing what just that hour a day really does for your mind. It really clears it out and just makes you feel so much better. And that's so important too, especially, I mean, if you have a stressful job, stressful life, kids that are driving you nuts all the time, like that, like getting yourself mentally prepared for the day is so important.
Well, Melissa said in the chat that if you work out at 5 a.m., you'll be all by yourself.
Okay, I did work out at 5 a.m. on Thursday.
Oh!
And the entire time, I thought I was going to die. It was like, I mean, it felt good, but everyone's like, oh, when you work out early in the morning, you feel so good the rest of the day. And I came upstairs and my husband was getting ready to leave for work, and I was like, I don't know how people do this. I was like, I don't feel like I have more energy. I feel like more tired. Like, I'm going to go back to bed.
Yeah. Plus, I don't feel coordinated. I feel like I'm going to hit myself with a weight.
I was kind of like half with it. I felt like I was like half with it, like what's going on. I feel like everyone, though, has that sweet spot. Like what time works best for your body. And it's different for everyone. For me, I do better. Like I can do 7 a.m. It's like before that for some reason, which is crazy because I work at the hospital and I mean, I've been up since 5:30 this morning. But it's different going to work out versus like walking into work.
Right.
I don't know.
Really,
and I can't do it late at night. That's rough for me too.
It's like the later the workout is, the better it feels to me.
Oh. Did they say some people are morning people, some people are night people? I'm neither. Like I don't know what I am. I hate getting up early. I hate staying up super late. I'm like my peak time is probably like 7 a.m. to about 2 p.m. Then I get tired.
Yeah, but you have to find what works for you. And I know there's definitely like benefits to working out in the morning, but people can't put pressure on themselves about anything. It's just figure out what works for you. And the most important thing is moving. Yeah.
I mean, I work out in the morning, but typically my time, like the time I generally work out is between 9 and 10 a.m.
Okay.
Usually I drop my daughter off at school, come back, and I'm doing my workout at like 9:15, 9:30. Same with on the weekends. Sometimes it might be closer to 10, but if you see me doing a late workout, it was just like, had to be done that way, and it's a struggle. And the early workout was rough. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know which I would rather do. Make myself get up like that or force myself to do it later. I don't know.
I don't know. I definitely go for the later.
I'm so tired at night though. I feel like if I get home and I've like done dinner and everything, and I just can't motivate myself to do that. I just want to like get in bed and read. Mm-hmm. Like that's what I'd rather do at night. But I've done it at night before a couple of times. Like you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Right. You have to just make it happen.
Yeah.
What do your friends and family think of the Tracy Anderson method?
I feel like they think it's weird. Like, briefly, my mom like dipped into it. My whole life, my mom has exercised, so she still is. She's like in 60, late 50s, 60s, and she exercises almost every day. But she more does like beach body stuff. But she did it briefly, the metamorphosis, and she was like, it's okay, but I like the more like insanity type moves, like jumping around and everything. And I've never asked her to try Attain with me. I don't know that she could do it. She would deny that.
I think most people could do it.
Right? I don't know.
Oh.
My husband, I think, thinks it's weird, but I've done it for so long now that he's just like, whatever. Like, have your time. Yeah. Most people think the arms are kind of weird. Mm-hmm. I feel like. Because they don't understand it. They're like, how can you get muscles with like 3-pound weights and just like flailing your arms around? And I'm like, just hold your arms that long and you'll see it burns.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And most people who try it end up being like, this is really hard. Like my sister-in-law last week, she was in town and I was going to do fundamental with her. And she's like, no, I want to do Attain. I think it'll be fine. I've watched some of it. And we did it. And she was like, holy crap. Like, this is hard. And she works out too. Mm-hmm. It's just different.
Right.
But they have to try it. I feel like when you just watch it, it does. I mean, it just looks kind of weird. I know some of the moves are odd and you're like, what is that? What are you doing on the floor? Like,
right.
I don't know.
And it does always look easier than it is. Like,
it really does.
Sometimes I'm like, why does it look like that was so simple? And I'm like, meanwhile, I was dying.
Well, and you have to take into account that we're also throwing on all those ankle weights. And I'd like to see some of the people who say it's weird do this week's Attain. Mm-hmm. Like with the weights on your back and like the weights on your wrists. I was like, what is going on? Like, come do this weird move and we'll see.
Right.
But you know, at one time, like last summer, my brother was over and he works out a lot. And we were out back barbecuing and him and my husband and me were talking about like planks and push-ups. Mm-hmm. I'm like, let's have a competition. They're like, there's no way you can do it as long as us. And I was like, bull. I was like, I bet you I can. And they're like, we have seen the workout you do. Like, it's so... I was like, let's do it. Do you know who did it?
Of course.
Who had the longest plank? Me. I'm like, that's all we do is planks.
Right.
Same with like the push-ups, all of it. I was like, yeah, for such manly guys, I'm pretty sure I just whooped your butt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially with the planks with like swinging your leg out to the side
yes.
and threading your leg through and all that. Like, definitely.
Yes.
It's amazing. We should have a plank contest as well.
Yes.
We've gotten a lot of like happy faces and comments in the chat. I just wanted to make sure we don't miss any questions. So if anyone has chat questions, please type them in. Do you have a motivational quote you would like to share with the Tamily?
I've got two.
Okay.
I have them like over here, so I have to say I'm perfect. So the first one is, I'm going to butcher his name, Brendan Burkhart. Do you know who that is?
I think.
He's like a motivational speaker. One of his quotes that he has said is, the power plant does not have the energy, it generates it. So really think about that. Your body is the power plant. So you have to work out. You have to put things in your body that are going to fuel it well to make that energy every day. And that's back to like working out every day. It gives you that energy, and that's why it's addictive. But it's because you're doing something good for your body. You're generating that energy. And if you're not doing that, then you're not going to be energized, you know?
That's a really, really good way to put that.
Yeah, I really love that quote because you can really think about it. You're like, this is the powerhouse. You have to fuel it properly to really generate the most energy. And like we were saying earlier, like the days that I don't work out, I notice a huge difference because I'm not doing that. Or the days that I might not eat as well, you feel sluggish, like
Absolutely.
because you're not fueling it properly. So I love that quote. And then this other one, I don't know who quoted it, but it really relates, I think, to the method. It says the enemy of success is not failure, it's comfort. And that's so true with the method because you're never comfortable, and she's always changing it, and you're always doing these weird moves, and she tells you why. Like, she doesn't ever want you to get comfortable. She wants you to constantly be in that state where you're just having to learn. And I think that's true in all aspects of life, really. Like, you never should get comfortable in your job. You shouldn't get comfortable. I mean, there's a saying in the healthcare world that if you're that comfortable as a nurse, if you don't go into something a little nervous, then you need to move on, because you should always be a little bit on your toes. And it's kind of the same thing here. Like, you always should be in that state.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Those quotes are excellent. I love it. So now we have a couple of questions in the chat. Melissa said, I know you love to read. Do you have a favorite book?
Oh gosh. I have so many favorite books. That's like my guilty pleasure. If anyone's been following me for a while, I love reading. Like, I could talk for hours about reading. Like, I love reading. I love writing. It's like something I love. But I love books. I don't know that everyone likes the type of books I like, but I'm a fantasy romance, paranormal. Those are like my favorites. So, and I typically like series.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of just like a plain old novel because I get attached to characters. So I want to keep going with the stories. So A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. That's probably my favorite series.
Okay.
Like a paranormal romance series.
Hannah wants to know, what book are you reading right now?
Of course I'm reading a book. Everyone knows this. I'm always reading. I am reading right now Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. Okay. She's a fantasy, it's young adult fantasy, like paranormal type books. She wrote, I don't know if you've heard of like Shadowhunters. Have you heard of that show?
Okay. I think
she basically created a whole like world, like the Shadowhunter world, and she has several different series within it, and this is her newest one. The book came out last week. It's called Chain of Gold. I just started it a couple of days ago. It's really good.
Cool.
Like, can't wait to go read tonight. That's what fun I am on a Saturday night. Go read.
Hannah also wants to know, what life lesson has the method taught you?
Oh gosh. I think the biggest one is just like nothing in life worth having is going to come easy. And the method is not easy. Like, you really have to work at it. And she talks about it being another language, and it really is. And you have to dedicate a lot of your time to it. But once you do that, I mean, you become fluent. Not necessarily fluent. I don't like to think that anyone is probably fluent. Maybe Tracy, obviously. Right. Even though she sometimes says that she doesn't even feel like she is. Going back to that comfort, you never should be comfortable. But, I mean, I think that that's the big thing with the method, is just that whole part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you fit your workout into your life?
Well, you just kind of have to do it. I know some people wake up in the morning and carve out their little time. For me, it really, and someone actually asked me this the other day on one of my posts. They asked how I work out with kids, or how my like workout has changed or whatever. So when I first had my daughter, I'd always work out during her morning nap time, which is kind of the time I'm still doing it, like the 9 to 10 a.m. And then as she got older, she was really good. So she would like play and just be very good while I worked out. Then I had my son. And I work out during his morning nap too, but once he stopped napping twice a day, he would only nap in the afternoon. And so I'd try working out in the morning still, but for like last year probably, he would not let me work out while he was awake, like crawling on me constantly. He would like go up to the computer and mess with it. I mean, it was like a constant battle. So that's when I had to switch my workout time. So then I was working out during his afternoon nap, which was a struggle because then you're working out after lunch. So we eat lunch, I'd put him down, and then I'd work out at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is not the ideal time for me, but I did it because it was the only time I could do it. I did that for probably 6 months. I worked out at that time. And it wasn't until like over the summer that he finally was like chill enough to let me do my workout in the morning again. But I just kind of, I don't have like a set, I pretty much kind of work out around my kids and life. I don't know. Like,
yeah. You have to.
Yeah.
Piper says, what Tamily member have you not met yet, but you would love to meet?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like there's a lot of Tamily members that I haven't met. I mean, I met a good portion at the Chi meetup. I feel like that was nice. But there are some people, let's see, I was really looking forward to meeting Mara, and she didn't come.
Yeah.
But she was supposed to. I'd been following her a while. So
Yeah.
I'd like to meet her. Actually, so when I first started following Tamily people, I didn't have a account. I just had like my private account. And I remember the first person that I followed, what is her handle? I think it's like Teresa.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She doesn't post very much anymore.
Okay.
She used to post all the time. She's gone to like Vitalities, and she has her own little like area. She used to do it in her bathroom, and now she does it in like the gym. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I think so.
Tam. I feel like that's what it is.
Yeah.
I always wanted to meet her. I followed her for a long time. She's the reason that I like started to like I was like, oh, okay, if she can do it, I'm gonna start posting mine, because I had been streaming for a while before I posted my videos. But I'd like to meet her. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Oh, Summer. I think she seems so fun.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to meet her and her dog.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I'm so bad with like the handles too. I feel like I recognize people, but like names, and I'm like, if you show me pictures, I can point out people.
Yeah. Well, I need everyone's Instagram name to be their real name, and then it will just help.
Yeah. Right. I know some people, and everyone seems to have like Tam in their name. Right. Which doesn't help. Like I don't, but I'm like, everyone has like Tam in their name. So I'm like, I'm confused. Like you all sound the same. Like
hard to keep track. So when did you first discover that the Tamily was on Instagram?
I don't even remember. Like I think this goes back to Instagram. Like when did Instagram first come around? I don't even remember.
I feel like, I mean, I didn't join it until 2015, I think. I feel like that's when I feel like it was new when I joined it.
I feel like, I definitely had my private account when my daughter was a baby. So that would have been in 2015.
Okay.
So I for sure followed Tracy. I don't know. And to be honest, I don't even remember how I knew there was like a Tamily. Maybe she like randomly mentioned it in a post, Tracy did or something, about the Tamily or streaming. And then I just typed in the hashtag and whoever popped up, I don't know. So it was probably in 2015 or 16.
It's a long time.
But I didn't have a fitness account though until well into 2017.
So is that when you started posting, or did you ever post on a non-fitness account?
I do not post on my private account.
Okay.
I have 3 Instagrams.
Okay.
I've got the one for fitness, which, and actually like any family who friends me, I block them. Is that terrible? No, like I'd rather like strangers or like, I don't know. It seemed weird. Like my mother-in-law like friended me. I let my sister and sister-in-law, I think, follow me.
Yeah.
But like my mother-in-law, I blocked. I'm like, I don't want like some of these people watching me. I don't know. It
Right.
seemed weird. And some friends that like I'm not like super close with, but I'm friends like at work or something. I'm like, I don't want them following me.
Right.
Like, whatever.
Oh my gosh, definitely not
But
workable.
my private account though, I don't have very many friends on that because that's just, it's boring. It's just like pictures of my kids. Like the only people who care about that are like your family and close friends.
Right.
So I forgot, what was your question? Like I'm talking about my different handles and I don't even remember what you asked.
About Instagram, but it was interesting. So let me see. I think I have maybe only one more question. Well, so I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you, what's the meaning of your Instagram handle?
The meaning of my Instagram handle? Well, it's just, I mean, mine just says Erin Carell Fit Life. I don't know. It's just literally just about, when I first started it, I didn't necessarily think it would just be for, and I do post a lot of, obviously, my workouts and stuff on there. But when I originally started, I want it to be just like health related, whether it be like recipes or motivational quotes, which I do post quotes and stuff like that. But I really wanted it to be a place that people could go to for being motivated. Because there's people like that for me. Like I get on and there's certain people I follow who I like to see what do they eat, or what are they like, what's their protein choice, or, you know, things like that I found interesting. And I wanted it to be like that. And I really want it to be a positive space. I never want someone to go to my page and think negative thoughts.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So I hope that people don't when they see my page. I want it to be just like more about health and living well and having a balanced life. And you can have fun too. I think in my thing I say that I like wine.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta have a balance.
Right. Absolutely. I like that philosophy though, that, you know, you don't want people to think any negative thoughts from your page.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me check if there's any more questions in the chat. I think we answer all of them. Piper would like to have a Tamily book club if you want to run that.
Do you like the same books as me, Piper? I do read other stuff. Sometimes I'll read Victorian smut. I don't know if anyone likes that. Do you read at all? You don't read at all?
I just work every minute of my life.
You can do audiobooks. I read all sorts of stuff. I occasionally will read, well, I'm not a huge like mystery. I don't like mysteries, although I did read like Gone Girl, those types. The Girl on a Train, I read those. Dark Matter, that's a good one if you like those type of books. But I typically read a lot of like science fiction. Most of my friends don't like the stuff I read. Although if you like romance, the After series is really good.
Okay.
That they made that into movies. You've probably seen the previews.
Oh.
It's like a college kind of romance.
Okay.
Good.
Well, Piper said she's into Victorian smut, so you guys.
I went through a period like last winter where that's all I read was Victorian smut. There's so many authors, but then you get to a point where it's like they all are kind of the same. They're always like a brooding duke who isn't supposed to, or he doesn't want to get married, but he has to, and he ends up falling in love with the girl that he's marrying. Like they all kind of have the same basic storyline, but they're so good. They're like fast reads if you like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're making me want to get back into reading. It's been like
you
years.
should. I have on my, I don't even know what it's called on. See, is Lindsay watching? Lindsay would know this because she's really good at Instagram stuff. What is the little things called when you save stuff and you can press like your favorite products or?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called.
I don't remember what that's called, but you like mark it and it's saves.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch. So I've got like books. I've got my favorite products. I've got crazy Tam moves. It's like a little little circles. I sound really like not tech savvy right now.
I think it's highlights.
Highlights, yes.
Yes.
Highlights. So I have a whole highlight of books. You should get on there and look at my highlights. Like books that I've read in the last like year or whatever, I'll randomly post them on my story and save them there. That's awesome. I recommend. But I read so much that I have a Kindle. I like paper books, but if I did paper books, I would have to have like a library. I mean, I can read 2 books in a week.
My gosh.
I read a lot.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
Who
It's
knew?
a problem. It's a problem.
It's not a problem. It's good for you.
I read way too much. My husband's like, you need to like get another hobby. Like you constantly have your nose in a book.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
So I think we've asked you all of our questions, and we don't have any more questions in the chat. Is there anything else you would like to share with the Tamily while you have this audience?
Oh gosh. No. I know. One thing I know, like in previous, you kind of asked what something that's important to people. I know some people might know I'm a nurse. I don't know if everyone does. I'm a labor and delivery pediatric nurse. So one of the things, excuse me, that I really care a lot about is like the postpartum stage after a woman has a baby. I think that a lot of times people get so focused on the baby, they neglect the mom, and you miss certain things like postpartum depression. And I think a lot of people after they have a baby, they kind of lose themselves in it. And it goes back to exercise and stuff like that. Like you really can find yourself again and doing that. But even like your postpartum, like getting back into fitness, it's very important to follow the right person, because I mean, you can really ruin your like pelvic area and stuff like that if you're not following the right trainer. And some people just jump into like these YouTube videos and go right into stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And that's one of the things that I think Tracy is really good about, is she makes sure that the like woman's body is really a target in her workout, and especially postpartum, which is important because you can get things like, I'm going to butcher the name again, diastasis recti. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's something that people really need to watch for, and just like your pelvic floor, all sorts of things. And not just that, but your mental health. So many people, I mean, get postpartum depression and they don't realize it, or they think that they just can't tell anyone, and it leads to other issues. And it's a big thing. Like mental health in general is a big issue that I feel like people are scared to talk about.
Absolutely.
And so, and exercise helps with that. It's a huge thing for mental health.
Absolutely.
So,
it's like probably the best thing you can do for your mental health, and people
definitely
realize that connection. I feel like the Tracy Anderson method is like the only one that really helps you to drive that connection. And you know, her outlook and the way that she like explains why we're doing what we're doing, and that we should focus on ourselves, like it really gives a healthy, balanced perspective.
Yes, it does. And getting outside too for mental health. Like, and that's why I think, I know me personally, like I said, I have anxiety, and I feel like I get really bad seasonal depression sometimes. Because I mean, you live in, well, you don't anymore. You did live in Florida, so you were getting like vitamin D all year. But here in Kansas, we get brutal winters. And sometimes with the brutal winters, I mean, it's just depressing. Like being inside and having no sunlight. It's just amazing the difference of just going outside. Like if you're feeling anxious or sad, just stepping out in the sun and literally just like closing your eyes and just feeling the sun warm your face can just make the whole difference.
It's true.
It is.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have to remember those things.
Yes, it's important.
Well, Erin, this hour has flown by from talking to you. It's been so fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for being our 86th STM.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yes. Oh, and last reminder, wash your hands.
Oh, gosh.
Nurse Erin, wash your hands.
Yes, please. Everyone wash your hands.
Don't go out if you're sick.
Don't leave your homes
for
any reason unless you have to.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you having the toilet paper issue in your state?
Not yet.
Oh my God, it's insane here.
Mm-hmm.
Like people, like there's no toilet paper anywhere.
It's ridiculous.
None. Like my sister-in-law just told me the other day, she goes, oh yeah, she goes, there was a fight at one of the Walmarts here in town. She goes, a fist fight over toilet paper. I'm like, what does this toilet paper thing have to do?
Right. Don't people want other things as well, like food,
I don't know.
bread, like
But I need toilet paper and now I can't go get it. And they like marked it up on Amazon. It's nuts.
Crazy.
So yeah, stop panicking, wash your hands, stay home, and save toilet paper for some of us, okay?
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Erin, very much.
Yeah.
One of our Ask Tamily interviews. This is going to go on my page for the next 24 hours, and then it'll go on YouTube forever.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Tamily.
Thanks.